Hello dear students, in this video we are going to see how to create a graphical user interface using Java Swing package. In the previous video, I have shown you to create this kind of window using the components like JLabel, JTextField, JButton and also text area. And we did some event handling as well. For example, when I enter the name and I'm going to enter the register number of this, and also I'm going to enter the marks. So then when I click the add button, it shows the addition of these 2 marks. When I click the grade, it shows what is the grade of the student. And also when I click display, the entries is displaying in the text area. So this is what we did in the previous video. So in this video, we are going to do is we are going to see some other components in this wing, that is combo box, list, checkbox and the radio button. So what is the output of this? What we are going to design in this video is we are going to first make a login page. For example, it is asking the username and the password. So I'm giving the username and password. If the username and the password is correct, when I click the login button, it will take us to the next window. So where what I'm going to do here is I have used the combo box. So this is the combo box, and here I have some list box. Also, I have asked to choose some subject using the checkbox, and I'm getting the gender of the student maybe in the radio button, and here I'm using a text area. Let us see one by one. For example, when I choosing the hobby, for example reading, it shows you have selected reading. And in the list box, when I choose the department, here it is showing you have selected CS. So, and then here, when I click on the checkbox, it says you have selected C++. And here, when I click, it says you have selected Java. And when I click on the gender, it says your gender is female. So this is what we are going to design using this components. So let us start designing one by one. And so first thing is we are going to create a class. So as if you have seen in the previous video, you would remember all these things. So here, let me create a class called GUI login. Okay, so here I want to make this as a frame. So I want to extend, inherit from the J frame. So this class itself becomes a frame. Okay, and so this J frame is available inside the package called Swing under Java X. So I want many all this classes from it. So instead of saying one by one, let me put asterisk so that I can access all the classes from the Swing package. Now I'm going to create a constructor here. So inside the constructor, we are going to initialize all the components, and we have to call this constructor. Then for that, we have to create an object for this class. So let me create an object of the class equal to new name of the class. So this will call the constructor. So now we are going to design this login page. So if you see the login page, how does it look like? I'll show you the login page. So based on that, let us design it one by one. So if you see in the login page, what are the things we need is we want a two label box, and then we want two text boxes. So for getting the username, I'm going to use the text field. For getting the password, I'm going to use the password field. That is a field called password, and then I'm going to use a button. When the username and the password is correct, it will take us to the next page. So what are things we want? Two label, one text field, one password field, and a button. So for that, first let me design it, or let me declare all this. So I want a label. So I want two labels. So let me say L user. To remember, we'll give a meaningful name, and then I want a password so I'll say L password. Then I want two text field, one text field and one password. So I'll say J text field. So one is to get the username. So I'll say user. Another one is I want J password field. So let me name it as T password to get the password. So then we want a button. So let me say button. and let me name the button as login. We can start it by B, so I can know button login. So these are the things we need. So let us define, or we can create object for all these things. We know that before we do all this thing, we have to create a JFrame. So we have extended it. So we'll give the properties of the JFrame to make it visible. So the first thing is I want to make it visible. So I'll say the visible as true. And then I have to say the size of the window. So let me give the size of the window as the width is 390 and the height I'm going to use is 280. Okay, and if you want to give the title to a window, even you can do that. So I'll say the title is login page. And we have, it is a string, you have to put it inside the double quotes. Okay, so after we give the title, we want to, when I close the window, if it want to be closed, then we have to use this set default close option. In that, we have to say jframe dot, and we want to close it, right? If you don't use this option, then it will not close automatically. So we have to say this was exit on close. So this is what we want to use. So then only when I click the button, it will close. So let us check whether we could able to see our window or not. So we can see this is the window we have created with the width as 390 and the height is 280, and we have given the title of this page. And when I close it, our program got closed, right? So that is where we gave the statement. Now let me give some color also to this. So if I want to give the color, I want to first get an object of the current window. For that, there is a function called get content pan, and in the content pan we have to say the color. So get content pan will give the control over our window. So for that I have to set the background and we can say the color. So I'm going to give the color as crayon. Okay. Mm. So this color class is present inside the AWT package. So it is included. So now if I run it, you can see the background color of our window is crayon, right? It is now clearly visible. Now what we'll do, we'll define the label. So earlier in the previous video also I say, if I want to organize all these components, there are many layouts available inside the AWT package of Java. So the default is the card layout. So here I'm not for this. In the previous video I showed demonstrated the flow layout. In this login page, I'm not going to use any layout. Set layout, I'm going to say as none. So we are going to, if I set the layout as null, then I have to say where to place all those components. I have to say which is the x coordinate, what is the y coordinate. So then I have to say what is the width, and everything I have to tell in detail. So let us do one by one. So first is J label. So we have to create a label for the user. So which is equal to new J label. And inside that I have to say enter your name. So I'll say enter your name. So now I want the others as well. Let us do everything. Password. So that is again label box. So let me say new J label. I'll say enter. So it is defined. Now what we have to do is we have to, as I have told you, I hope you remember this, always remember this analogy on this event handling everything. So you will not forget what are the necessary things needed. So as I told you, I'll tell the analogy. For example, in our houses, we have the switch. You consider this is the switch for the fan. So first we have the switch. Then what we'll do, we will fix this switch on the switchboard. So this is the switchboard. right? So we will place this here, the switchboard. After that, what is the purpose of the switch? Maybe I want to rotate the fan. Okay, so the switch for this fan is there. Now, if I switch on this, the fan should rotate. So what will we do? We'll have a wiring connection between this fan and the switch. So this is what we'll do. So when I switch on, the fan should rotate, the functionality should be there. Same thing will be followed here in the GUI event handling as well. So now let me give this analogy related to our GUI. So this fan, this switch, no, these are all the components. Okay, these are all the components. Like what are the components we have? J label or J button. So these are the components. So the switch is like all the components present in the swing. And this board is like the J frame, okay, or the container where we are going to keep all this. And what is this fan is the functionality. So depending upon the event, we have a functionality. For example, if I'm going to do some event on button, so it is listened by the action listener interface. For this action listener, we have function called action perform. So this is the function for this listener. So inside this action perform, we want to do what is our activity. So here the activity is to rotate the fan. So similarly, when I switch on the button, what should be done is should be defined here. What is the next thing? We want to do the wiring. So to do the wiring, we have to attach the button or any component by using the, for example, if it is a button object dot, then we have to say add action book action listener. That function we have to add. If it is some other listener, we have to add list listener. So other listener. This is the wiring we have to do. So we are going to do the same thing in the coding. So if you understand this analogy, you will not miss any of the step here. Okay. So let us now go and do the coding. So we have this component now. What is the next step? As I showed here, once the component is ready, we have to fix it on the board. That is our JFrame. So what we will do is, for that, we have to do add. So our JFrame is the class, the current class. So we are going to add it. So what do you want to add? The component. We'll use it. So also I want to add the next label as well, L pass. So now it is added. So we did this. So we create a component, then we placed on the JFrame. So that is done by this. Now, since I set the layout as null, I have to define where should I place. So I'm going to say, where should I place it? So for that, we have a function called set bounds. So using this set bounds function, I have to say what is the x-axis, y-axis, width, and the height. So for this, I'm going to give the x-axis as 90, and then I'm going to give the y-axis as 70, and the width of this label box I'm going to give as 100, and the height of this label box I'm going to give as 25. So if you see the component, so this is the 0, 0 axis. Okay, then it will keep on going. This is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. So what I said is I want to place my label box in the x-axis as 90, y-axis as 70, and the width of this, what is the width is 100, and the height of this label box I have given is 25. Similarly, we have defined for the password. We want to define it. Let us give it for the password as well. So lpass dot set bounds, and now we have to say again what is the x-axis as again 90. It is in the same line, and we have to say the y-axis. How will we define the y-axis? Is already this label is in the 70th. The y coordinate is 70, and then we have given the width of this is 25. So 70 plus 25, nearly it is going around if you give 100, then it is okay, properly we can arrange it. Then similarly we are going to give the same width and the same height. Okay, so now we have created the label, we have placed it on the frame, and now we have given the position as well. Now let me run it and show it to you. So now you can see our text box and the label, which means the username and the password is received. I think this width is not sufficient. because something is missing here. So let us increase it. Let me give the width as 35, and also here let us give us 35. So now if I run it, I think we can clearly see. Okay. So this is the height, right? So we have to increase the width. So the width as like we'll say 120, and here also we'll say as 120. So the width is 120. Now let me run it. Okay, now I think it is okay. So we have given enter your name and enter your password is clearly seen. So now what is the next thing we have to define? Now this is okay, right? Now we have to define this to text field. So let us do that. So for that, what I am going to do is, first we have to create the component. So what are the text field? One is T user. So we have to define it. So let me say T user equal to new, and I have to say it is a text field. It is ready. And now we want the password as well. So we will define the password equal to new password. So it is now ready. So what is the next thing? The component is now got ready. What we have to do? Fix it on the board. So for that, what we have to do? We have to add it. So let me add. First, I'm going to add the user name text field, and then I'm going to add the text field to get the password, that is tpass. So now, since we made it is null, we have to also define the xy coordinate of this as well for this two text field as well. So first, let us fix it for the user. So we'll say dot set bounds, and we have to say what is the x-axis, y-axis. So since already we can see this x-axis is starting from 90, and we have taken the width as 120, right? So we have to calculate 190 plus 120, nearly it's 210. So after that we have to keep the text field, right? So let me give us 220, and then let us give the y-axis. So y-axis is same, right? In the same y-axis only it should be, so it will be 70. Now we have to define the width of the text field, as well as we have to give the height of it. Similarly, we have to give it for the password as well, pass. And for that I have to again give it. So again, I have to say first the x-axis. X-axis is same order as that of this. And then I have to say the y-axis, same y-axis I have to give. Near to the password label only it should also come. So I have changed it. So now we will check it. How does it come? So now we got the text also, right? So we got the text field, and also whatever you enter here will be coming like this dot bullets, so that the password will not be visible to others. So that is why we made it as J password field. If I create the same thing as text field, whatever I enter here will be visible. So if you use as password field, it will not be visible. Then what is the last thing we want to create it? We want to create a button, login button. So let us create it. So for that we have to create an object. So equal to new. The button is now ready. So what should be written on the button? I have to say the on the button I have to say login. So the button is ready. Now we have to, so you know that the component is ready. Place it on the board. So what will you do? Just do add. What we want to add? Button login. So that is the name we have given to it. And now we have to say where we have to place it as well, right? Since we are manually doing, so I'm going to say as login dot set bounds, and now again I have to say what is the x-axis, y-axis, all this thing. Let me say the x-axis as 120 because it is starting it. Let us bring it to somewhat middle, so on around 130, and I have to say the y-axis. So let me give the y-axis as 140, and let us give the width and the height of it. So width I'm going to give us 150, and the height as usual let us give us 25. So now let us check how does it visible in the window. So we got this login button as well. So now if I click on anything, nothing, no event is done. Okay, so now we have to do the event handling for it. So the alignment or keeping of this component is now ready. So when I click on the login, it has to check the username and the password. If it is correct, it should take to the next page. So let us do that. So when, as I explained the previous video here, whenever I do some event, it is listened by the listener. So here, where I want to do the event is on the button. When I click on the button, it has to check the username entered in the text field and the password entered in the password field. If it is correct, it should take us to the next thing. So for that, I'm going to use the pass interface called action listener. So for the action listener is present inside the AWT package. Under that we have event package. We have it, so that is good. And you can see an error because since we have using interface, we have to define the corresponding function of it. So we are going to implement it. So we are having the corresponding function present inside the interface. Action listener is action perform. So here only we want to say what should be done when I click on the button. So now according to this, we have the fan. The functionality is here and the switch is here kept on the board. Now we want to do the wiring, right? So this wiring, how will you do is, to whom and all we want to do the wiring between the button and the function. So what is the name of the button? That is login. Login dot add action listener. And then I am going to pass the object of the current class where we have implemented this action listener. So this represents object of the current class. So this is what the wiring. Now, whenever I do any event with this login button, it is connected to this functionality. So where we are going to do what we are going to say what we want to do. So that is action performed. So now it is perfect. Now we have the wiring, we have the functionality, everything. Now let us define what should be the functionality. So what we have to do is we want to get the data entered in this text username also from the password, right? So for that, both we will be getting as a string. So let me say as username equal to, what is the name of the text field is t user dot get text. So this will help us to take the data present inside it. As well as we want to get the password. So we'll say the password field name is tpass. Hope you remember that. So if you see, this is the name we have given for the username text field and the password. So now we got it, right? So the next thing is why it is showing underline is actually now it is duplicated. It will get as a array, character array. So let me now using, I'm going to get the data as a string itself. So no issue. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check if the username, the data which is present inside this variable is equal to equals function will check the content, right? So let me check as if it is admin. Okay, let me give the username as admin and also I'm checking with password. Okay, equals. So I'm going to check that password also. I'm going to give us admin. So if the username and the password is admin, then what we have to do is we have to move to the next page, right? So we want a next window, another window to be displayed. So for that, what I'm going to do is I have another class. Okay, I'm going to make this class as another window. So I'm going to extend JFrame for it, and then we got the swing corresponding package for it. And then let us quickly create a constructor for it. So the constructor have the same name as that of the class name. And as of now, we just define the necessary thing. So we'll say set visible as true. And then let us give the size of the window. So set size. We have to initially let us give us 400 plus 400. That is width and the height. And when I close on the button, it should close. So let me say set default close option and JFrame dot exit on close. So when I close the button, the program will terminate. and if also we'll set the layout. So for here, let us set the layout as flow layout, because every time I have to calculate the x axis, y axis, and we have to give the flow layout. We have to create an object for it, which is present inside the AWT package. I think as of now it is enough. And if you want to give a color for it, first we have to get the object of it. So let me say get content tag. So under that we have to give dot set background color. Let us give the color as pink. C is capital and dot pink. So we are going to run this now. Okay, so let it be. Before that, I have to give, so whenever the username and the password is correct, I have to take it to this new window, right? So for that, I am going to create an object of this class here. So we know how to create an object. New. So otherwise, you can directly give like this, because we are not going to use it anywhere. Whichever is comfortable, it's okay. After I open this new window, the current login window should close. So for that, I am going to use this course. So this will close the current login window and it will take to the next page. So that is what the meaning of this. So now let us run this. So when I run, it is asking for the username and password. What is the username and password we have given here is admin. So let me give admin, and the password also I'm going to give as admin. So when I click on login, it is taking us to the next page. And you can see here, this is what the background color we gave. We didn't give any title, so no title is coming. So this is perfect now. So now let me show you some more things here. For example, now you can change the color or text of text. For example, if you see here, when I run it, if you are getting this window, here the font size you can increase, the font style you can increase, the background color of this text field you can change, foreground color you can change. Let me show that as well, and then we'll go to the next thing. So for that, for the text field alone, I am going to change it. So for that, let us take for this username. For this username, okay, I'm going to do set font. Okay, so there I have to create the object for the font, and in there first I have to say the font family. Let me say the font family as Cambria, and then I have to say whether my text need to be bold or anything. If you want, you can make it as bold, the username, and then we can give the font size. Let me give the font size as 20. So if you want to change the foreground color or the color of the text, so for that we have foreground color. So let me say the color C is capital, color is red. Okay. So now similarly you can give for the password as well. I just show one example for you, so that will help you to do the rest as well. So for example, now you can see whatever I type there is coming as red color, and the font size has been increased, and the font is also now coming as like Cambria. So this is how we can able to change. Even if you want to change the background of the text field, that also you can do. So for that you can see user dot set background. So for that you can give some color dot, let us give us pink or whatever it may be. So if I run it, you can see that as well. So you can see the background of the text field now changed, and you can, the foreground is the text color, that is also changed, right? So this is how we can able to do. So now the login page is perfect. You can see it. Whenever I run this program, it is asking the username and the password, username and password. Okay, one more thing we'll do. If the username and the password is wrong, so we'll say the else part as well. So else, if the username and the password is wrong, we'll display a message box. So we'll say J option pan and dot show. We are going to show a message dialog, and let it be come in the current window itself. And I'm going to say what is the content to be displayed there. I'll say check your username or the password So this is what the text I want to display over there. Let us give the title of this window as well. So we'll say error, and then you have to say what kind of message dialog we are going to use. So for that we have J option and dot information message. So we are going to give information, or if you want, you can give the error message as well. For that we have to say error message. So it will come with the error message icon. Let us try for that. So here you can see, let me give a wrong username and a wrong password. Now if I log in, it says it is giving error login icon, right? And it is asking check your username and password. So if I give the correct one, admin, and the password also we know we have given as admin. Now if the username and the password is correct, the current login window got closed and the new window got displayed. So this is how you have to create a login page. So hope you have understood it clearly. In the next video, I will show you how to create a second page with all these components. I hope you got the login page design. So we will see this including all this component and performing action like event with all this, or doing event handling with all this component. We'll see in the next thing. Hope you got it. God bless you.